Thank you for inviting us to be with you this morning. You guys, our kids shine. Don't they shine? I hope it's not lost on you. It's not lost on me, and I tell them regularly. We adore them, and we know that it is very hard to get up front. So in one of we have 3 taglines at RAA: Christ followers, character builders, and experiential learners. And I'll talk about each one of those, but right now, having kids up front, acting out a part, performing in front of adults and strangers is hard. It's asking them to do something hard. And Elaine, to sing a solo, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. You are so brave. I'm very, very proud of our kids. And I will brag on them some this morning, and I'm going to tell you a couple of stories. When Pastor Yabbit asked for us to come, it's always easy for us to bring kids and do things together when I just said it was hard. It is hard for them, but it's good as a school when we show up with our students. He knows that I'm not a sermon giver, and he gives me the sermon spot twice in a row now, so I'm going to tell you a couple of stories today and give you some school updates of some things that I would love for you as a church to know what's going on. And so our kids are our spotlight. They are our heart and soul of our school. We're incredibly proud of them, and to be able to come and share them with you today is probably our favorite way to say thank you, because you as a church are a wonderful giving church to our school, and we bring these kids back to you to say thanks. Thanks for supporting Adventist education and helping us do what we do. You guys have a handful of students at our school now, not 1 or 2, but several kids from Anderson attend RAA now, and it's just precious to us. So again, thank you for welcoming us this Sabbath and opening up your doors for us and hosting us today. I've recently written, I write in the VIP each and every week. That's our weekly newsletter. It comes out Friday afternoons. If you don't get it and you would like to know what's going on at RAA, give us a call at the school. We'll make sure that your email's on there, and then you can see all the happenings, the things that are coming and going from RAA. But I recently wrote about the statement, the days are long and the years are short. Now, if you're a parent, you know exactly what that means. And if you're a grandparent, you really get it, because you've watched your children and now your grandchildren growing up. And although we squeeze a lot in, and although some days are really hard, when we really take a minute and look back and reflect, time is flying by. And we know it's May. Last Sabbath, when I spoke at Reading Church, it was still April. It's May. We are in May. School is almost done. And summer is almost here, and then summer will fly by and next school year will be here. And so we're already anticipating and planning and doing things for next school year, because it will be here quickly. The days are long and the years are short. And as we have gone through this school year, it's very hard for us to believe that we're already wrapping up another school year. And it's fun. So for some updates for RAA this is our 3rd year of doing a junior academy. I visited with your church in anticipation of adding 9th and 10th grade. Then I've come back and I've said we're open with 9th and 10th grade, and now we're finishing year 3, which is exciting for us. But new to us this year was TK, and I see Mrs. Mendaci here visiting today, and she is our kindergarten and TK teacher. And TK is pre-kindergarten. Think of it as a pre-K. It's called transitional kindergarten. It gets kindergartens ready for all of the things developmentally and academically that come with kindergarten. So we have a TK-K combo. So now RAA is a TK through 10th grade campus. We serve a lot of kids. And it's a ministry. And I think you guys as your church can fully understand the ministry that is Adventist education. It's an expensive ministry. And thanks to many of you for pouring into and believing in what we do. That ministry would never happen without you. Tuition alone does not pay for schools. Churches, conferences, tuition and people who believe in Adventist education are what make the school doors stay open. And so we are grateful for you. It has been a fun year. We have 70 students this year, TK through 10th grade. And we've just finished early enrollment, where 92% of our current students re-enrolled. 92%. All right. We are proud that 92% re-registered in early enrollment. And that brings me to my first story. In early enrollment, as the principal, I have a little tactic that we do, and it involves a wagon full of toys. And I bring this toy wagon around, and we allow the kids, when they have re-registered, to choose a toy. Now, this works like a charm most of the time. And I hear parents and grandparents giggling because their kids go home and they're like, you have got to register me again. The toy wagon is coming. And they get to choose, and then when their name pops on the list, in numerical order, the first to sign up, the first to get a toy. And there's good toys and there's small toys, there's gift cards and all kinds of things. All kinds of things. Now, you can imagine the sooner you get to choose, the more option you have, the better pick you have. Now, I had stuffies in there and squishmallows and gift cards and Legos. Legos are a popular one. I had slime and little trinkets. And I learned some valuable lessons this year. I learned that the way the 5th and 6th graders respond to a toy wagon is totally different than the way my kindergartners and my TKs respond. And here I wear this funny pink feather boa. I wish I had a picture. I have another picture for you for my second story, but I wear a feather boa, and everybody knows when I'm wearing this pink feather thing that it's early enrollment time and there are gifts to be had in the wagon. And I pulled my wagon around, and person number 1 and 2 and 3 pick, and 4 and 5. And then I get to the person in the kindergarten classroom. And the kindergarten classroom says, is it my turn to pick? Oh, it's not your turn just yet. I know your name is coming, but it's your turn to pick. And little person picks their toy. Well, guess what happens when one 5-year-old picks a toy? Everybody wants their toy. Of course they do. I would. So I said, okay, I'll be back. It's my name. When do I get to pick? How come I? Wait, Missy. And so out the door I go. Out the line follows. Mrs. M's trying to corral everybody. And then the tears start because they do not understand why they don't get to pick their toy because their name is not on the list. It's not their fault their name's not on the list. They have no way of comprehending why they cannot pick a toy yet. So here I go, trying to go to my next destination, and we have 5-year-old tears. Mrs. Mendaci and I are going, oh, this is not working like we planned. This is not going well. So my lesson I learned was, I'm not going to parade the toy wagon in front of the kindergartners. So off I go to the next classroom, and I take the toy wagon around, and I go into another classroom. Now, I'm not going to name names because these kids are trying to figure out who I'm talking about. Okay, I'm not going to name any names here. But I go into another classroom, and one student says, is there slime? I says, there is slime. Now, if you don't know what slime is, it comes in a canister. It's an oobleck. It's a gooey substance that's both messy and not messy at the same time. I don't know how to explain it. It's sticky, but it doesn't really stick to anything, but it can also make a mess. It's just kind of a cool thing that parents don't buy for kids. So I put it in my toy wagon. And this kid says, I want slime, and it's my name on the list. I said, I'm so sorry, your name is not on the list, but I know for sure it's coming. So I'll keep an eye on the slime. And I go about campus, and this goes on for 2 weeks. We did this. And nearing the end, you can expect what happens to the toy wagon. As all of the names start to choose, there are what? Less toys to choose from. So I go back and I circle into this one particular classroom, and the slime had disappeared. And this little person's name was on the list, and they said, but there's no slime. And I said, I know. There are other things you can choose, and look at all these other things you can make. No, I don't really want any of those, Missy. I really wanted the slime. And I said, I'll tell you what. Now, this little one has had some unique challenges. So I kind of wanted them to get the slime, but I also can't hold the slime for them. So I said to them, I said, you know what I'm willing to do? If you can hang on, I'll go get some more slime and it'll end up in the wagon and I'll circle back to you. That was a winning idea. They said, okay, thank you, Mrs. C. So they didn't choose a toy from the bin. And they waited. And I go around to the rest of the classroom, and again, this is going over 10 days, and I circle back to that classroom, and that little one looks in the bin and said, did you get slime yet? I said, it's the same day. I haven't even left campus yet, so there's still no slime in there. You're going to have to wait. And this person said, I think I'm just going to pick from what's in there. And I said, are you sure? Because I'm willing to go get you what you're asking for, because you've been very patient. No, Missy, I'm just going to take this. And they grabbed a toy. And they grabbed a toy, and they ripped off the bag, and it was one of those little things. You probably see them at Target or Walmart. They have little foil packages, and you don't know what kind of toy is inside. It's a surprise. Okay? So in anticipation, it's very exciting when you're holding the unknown. It's not so exciting once you've ripped off and you look inside and oops, I gave it away. This person said, I already have this one. I don't want this one. And I said, oh, I am so sorry. You've already opened it now. I can't put it back. Now the secret is out. I can't put it back in the toy bin. You decided, you chose, right now you wanted to get the bag. So I can't put it back because you've already picked, but can you still get me slime? And I said, no, this is actually a really good lesson for you. I think I would have gotten you slime, but you did pick. And so now we just have to be okay with this one. And they went back to their desk. They looked at this little toy that was no longer a surprise. The fun anticipation was gone. And I said to our team later, I said, there is a valuable lesson here in knowing that sometimes things are worth the wait. And God has so much waiting for us, so much good. I don't know if you have ever seen the picture of Jesus bowing in front of a little person, and the little person is holding a bear, and yet behind Jesus's back is a bigger, more beautiful bear. Have you ever seen that picture? It's just the act of trust, waiting for what is coming, is worth the wait. So we challenge our kids, wait, Jesus has so much in store for you that when we go back as Christ followers, which is one of our main things at RAA, Christ followers, we want to set them up for success. We want them to have God as their ultimate goal destination. Christ followers waiting for the best. Okay? Going back to the kindergarten, we learned now we will not be taking the toy wagon in and causing tears, because that's not fun. So we had such valuable lessons learned this year as Christ follower, character builder, experiential learning. My experience was, I will not be wheeling the toy wagon in front of kindergartners and causing tears, but I will continue to teach our big kids that sometimes it's worth the wait. Delayed gratification. God has big things in store for us. All right. As part of our experiential learning piece, let me brag on our big kids for a minute. It was a very quiet campus. Mr. Robinson, Mrs. M. Mandachi can tell you. It was very quiet. The Sioux are pretty quiet. Our elementary kids are actually pretty loud. So the K-6 students were on campus. 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th graders for a few days were off campus. 7th and 8th graders are in Washington, D.C. right now. It is one of the best things that we offer our kids is these beautiful trips. And I know Elaine's sister is one of those kids that's away. They are in Washington, D.C. for a whole week, touring all kinds of things. They did a Capitol tour. They went to Gettysburg yesterday. They did the zoo. They're at the Bible Museum this afternoon for Sabbath. So many wonderful memories that we squeeze into a week of learning outside of the classroom. It's one of the things we love to do at RAA. Get outside. God's classroom is actually outside. We know that Ellen White in her book of education says everything we need to know is in the Bible and outside. So we get our kids outside on a regular basis. We still have our garden program that's thriving. Our littles love to dig in the dirt, play in the garden, watch little seeds go from nothing to something, and then eventually things they can eat. It's really cool. But our kids love these trips. And so starting in 3rd grade, we get them out doing experiential learning off campus and preferably overnights. We like to do overnight trips. We take lots of parents. Parents are always welcome to join us and go on these awesome trips. And so we did the 7th and 8th graders in Washington, D.C. right now as we speak. I got a call from their teacher this morning. They're having a great time. And then we took the 9th and 10th graders over to the coast, and I don't know, it's starting to get hot. I think this was our first day in the 90s this last week. I missed it because I was in Ferndale, California, spending some time in Ferndale on the beach. It was a nice, balmy 58. Well, it was 90 here. We missed it completely. And we had our kids looking for fossils and tide pooling and just exploring God's creation. So much life is by the ocean, talking about the surplus of life that lives on the coast. Bird species and aquatic species, all kinds of marine mammals. We had seals coming up and staring at us like, who are you? What are you doing here? And so we had a great time, and that is one thing we love. And so we invite our families to share that neat thing about our school is that, hey, this school, our Christian school, loves to get kids outside. They love to do all kinds of fun things. It's not just boring school. It's not just sit in a desk, open your textbook. And by the way, LJ said, how would you know if I'm a good teacher? Well, I'm here as his principal to tell you, he is an excellent teacher. I'm in and out of these classrooms all of the time, seeing kids, and he's absolutely right. These kids are absolutely right. Actions speak louder than words, and we have a couple teachers sitting in here today. Their actions absolutely speak loud. They love their kids. They're gifted in their fields. They're good at what they do. And our kids are the blessings. Our kids receive the benefit of them being excellent in what they do. And so you're a great teacher. Thank you for bringing your kids up here and giving us that moral today. Actions speak louder than words. All right. Along that lines of experiential learning, I did some for myself. Just over a month ago, I was very, very fortunate to attend a tour in Europe. My son attends Pacific Union College Preparatory School, PUC Prep. He's a junior, and of course we're a K-10, so my own son aged out of our school. My husband and I, Mike and I, deeply believe in Adventist education, and so without an Adventist high school here, we made the tough decision to let him go away to school. He's going to PUC Prep, so he's still getting a strong academic education, preparatory collegiate prep school. And they went on a Reformation Christian history tour in Europe at the end of March. Mike and I decided to join them, and we had an amazingly wonderful time. And Esteban, what you were saying about the Apostle Paul and his words, think on these things. We walked quite literally in the footsteps of the Apostle Paul on this tour. And I was completely honored and humbled to be there. I've shared a little bit with our team what it was like to go on this Reformation history tour. And to take a group of kids and live this and feel and experience this is the best kind of education there is, which is why we at RAA pour into this experiential learning. So we were on this Christian history tour, and there are many, many, many things, many old things to see in Rome and Europe in general. And this particular day we were in Rome, and this is how the verse that Timothy read from Matthew, when he said, "Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the way and broad is the road that leads to destruction." I had an experience that brought this verse to mind. It's a little bit of a funny story. 5th and 6th graders already know what I'm going to say because I shared this story with them. But I had an experience where we were in Rome for day 2. We had gone to the Pantheon. I don't know if you've ever been to Rome, but the Pantheon is one of many ancient churches. This particular one was one of the first ones to be used, and it's kind of known for its very large dome. It was a hand-built dome, still holding strong today, many, many hundreds of years later. We were at the Pantheon. Now, Mike and I have been to Europe before, so we have been there and seen it. And he says, "Hey, let's go get some gelato." Oh, I know this story. Let's go get some gelato. And in a minute, I have a picture for you, but we got to hold on the picture for a second. And I said, "Great idea. We're in Italy. When in Rome, right, go get gelato." That's the moral of our quick story. When in Rome, go get gelato. So I said, "Let's go get gelato. We've already been in here." And Josh hears Mike and I talking. Josh hears his dad and I talking. And he says, "Where are you guys going?" I says, "Well, we're going to go get gelato. We have seen inside this building, so you go take a quick look." And he says, "Can I come?" He went and did his quick peek. Then he jogged over and he caught up with Mike and I, because right there in the corner of the square was a gelato place. And we walked in, and it was the gelato of all gelato places. All kinds of colors and toppings and great, yummy options. Easy to pick. Mike had strawberry, Josh had something else, and I had, I think, chocolate mint gelato. Okay. As soon as they scooped Mike's gelato, and I'm still deciding at this time, as soon as they scooped his and handed it to him, I realized my mistake. Do we have that picture? I realized my mistake. Now, can you see that ice cream? Does that look like the simple, mellow ice cream? That ice cream is in a waffle cone twice the size of my hand. It has whipped cream that I didn't even ask for, and a cookie that says, "I love Pantheon." It is the touristy of the tourist ice creams that come. And I said, "Oh, I think we have made a mistake." I looked at Mike's ice cream, then Josh got his. It looked just like that, and that one is mine. And I said, "I think I have made a mistake. I have fallen trap. Prey to the tourist corner store of ice cream." So I pull out my debit card, and I tap to pay. 45 euros was my ice cream. Now, I don't know if you've been to Europe lately, but the exchange rate, euro to dollar, is about 1.3. So I actually paid about 30% more. So over $50 I paid for 3 ice creams. And I got back carrying my ice cream, joined up with the rest of the group, and one of our teachers is also a mom at Pratt. She says, "That looks delicious." I says, "It best be. It best be delicious." And it was very, very good. But I had the fanciest, most expensive ice cream I've ever had in my life because of its location. It was right there on the corner of the square, easy to spot. I could stand there, eat my beautiful Instagram-worthy ice cream right in front of ancient buildings. And so I paid over $50 for 3 ice creams, gelatos. And I learned a valuable lesson. Wide is the gate. Easy. When it's easy, it's probably should give you pause. So as I told this story to our students a week or so ago, and on Monday mornings, the pastors and I take turns rotating around our classrooms. And I go and I share worship with them, or our area pastors will go in and share worships with them. And I said, this ice cream cone was delicious, but it made me think of this verse in Matthew. And the verse in Matthew says, enter through the narrow gate, because for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many people enter through that one. But small is the gate and narrow is the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. As we journeyed through Rome that day and wound about through small streets, we came across many other just as delicious gelato shops, small, tucked away, not for tourists. $5 for ice cream. Small on the narrow road where we should have been looking for ice cream. And so I told these kids, we're not supposed to be on the broad way. Our school does not look like everybody else. Our school is not supposed to look or feel or act or talk like really big public schools. We are supposed to look different, feel, talk, teach, expect different. As a small Christian school, we have the blessing of not being controlled by a state that is pushing different agendas. We have the blessing of having Bible classes every single day. We open every morning in our classroom with worship and prayer. And we invite you guys to do that with us. We invite you to pray over our school. The devil is seeking to destroy. He's giving us lots of challenges, but by the grace of God, our doors are open. By the grace of God, we are still thriving and continuing. We have happy children, wonderful families, a teaching team that is unparalleled. And we, one foot in front of the other. Each day is a gift and a blessing, and we're forever grateful for that. And so as I close, we don't want to be the broad way. We are the narrow way. We are not a large public school. We're a small Christian school, distinctly different than that of our public school peers. And I invite you to come and check us out. I saw in your announcements, thank you for announcing we do have a constituency meeting coming in mid-May. You're welcome to come. We have an open house happening that night. Wander through our classrooms. Take a look. See what we're doing. It's exciting. Our kids have been getting ready. They're all doing different presentations. We have a business meeting happening that night. I can share a lot more of the nuts and bolts about the financial pieces to our school and the things that we need. But you as a church help keep our doors open, and we're grateful and we're thankful for you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for believing in what we do, sending us your children, spreading the good news about RAA. If you know of somebody with a school-age child that isn't at our school, give them a nudge. Call me. I would love to have a conversation with them, show them around. Let's not let finances be the reason that somebody doesn't get an Adventist education, because we will always help make a way for that. But as I look out, I see families of alumni students. You have singers here this morning of some of my old students. It is such a joy to worship with you and look out at a church community who loves and believes in their local school. So for that, we say thank you and wish you a wonderful Sabbath. Thank you, Lord, for that hope that you're reminding us of, that we have in you. Thank you for the blessings of this Sabbath. We ask that you go with us now as we separate and bring us back together safely again. In thy name we pray. Amen.
to reach a friend with a Christ-centered message of hope and wholeness. This has been Anderson SDA Church in Northern California. Thank you for joining us. We invite you to visit our Facebook page linked in the description or our website at andersonadventist.org. And as always, we look forward to seeing you next time.